See the tom turkey? He's gobbling. He's gonna challenge me. Hear him? Yeah, those are wild. They speak turkey. They speak jive. Jive turkeys. See them scratching the... Maybe they're more like domesticated. But about a quarter-mile back down the road, there's some deer laying off the side of the road, about as far away as they are right now. I'm gonna have to back up and show you. You can see his jaw moving. The one on the right, I'm shaking more than he is. There's one over here on the left tucked in the bushes too. Yeah, you can see his jaw still moving. If I could hold still. They're like overpopulating the area, I think. I think the locals are going to start putting out poison. No natural predators left. See if they speak turkey. First I'll show you the one that's a couple feet ahead. Oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, because there's 3 back there. He's kind of hard to see, he's a little shy. That's actually 2. And 1 over there, and then the one right here. Wow. Do you guys speak turkey? Silly humans, sliding down the mountain on sticks. Bunch of talking monkeys is all they are, huh? These deer sit around here watching these humans on the ski slopes, and they're probably quite amused. Okay, I'm gonna go talk to your turkey buddies up the road a little more. This is where I'm driving. The deer were just back there on the left. Some pretty cool area. Oh. Maybe I'll accidentally catch a Sasquatch or something watching this film on the playback. That's just my luck. I don't know how or why. See, there's beaver dam here. That's pretty cool. See, I'm gonna pull a Robert O'Tay. Look everyone, there's just forest fire, see? And he keeps the camera moving like this. These people in the rear view probably don't think I'm too funny. Here, let me pull over and let them by. Is that really? Is that really? We're gonna go check it out. That might have been a tree burnt from the inside. I'm gonna let these people by. Yeah, I don't know why they're falling out the way they are, but that one was blackened. I'm gonna back right up right now. Because I'm actually not expecting this up here. I'm just kinda up here checking stuff out, but that looked a lot like the burnt from the inside, burnt at the base only. Oh, it sounds like my turkey buddies are up in there too. But yeah, you see how it's blackened up to, oops, You see how it's blackened up to about here? That's what the plasma fire trees look like. It's burnt up to there. I'm gonna have to come back and check this out. But it looks like those are too. Yep, it's burnt on the right, the burn line. Straight up the tree, right there. Unburnt on the left, burnt on the right. This is definitely plasma fire, burnt on the inside. That's why this tree fell. This is Vivian Park. When you take off up Vivian Park, Springdale, just up the canyon. Whoa, I gotta go. I gotta go get some more footage of this. I really didn't expect this. I was just tripping on the turkeys and stuff. So, hold on, let me pull over. Here's another one as I'm driving by. Okay, like I said, right before I said, maybe I'll catch a video of Sasquatch or something, because that's how my luck works. Here it is, more plasma fire. I can guarantee, just driving by, you don't see plasma fire yet. I do. Right there, I guarantee I'm gonna find all the indicators, because I can see it, and once you can see it, you can't miss it. That's what this is. How this piece of the tree got over here, I don't know. Where the hole in the ground is it came from, it's probably from that same tree right back over there, but it fell in the road, so they drug it up the road a piece. I'm gonna pull over, I'll be right back. So just so you know, I'm not BSing. There's those wild turkeys. They're up in that corner over there. Right down this road is where we're gonna go see. Ooh, I don't wanna run out of battery. I only got 25% and I don't know how much memory I got, so I'll put you on pause for a second. Decided to get in the car. There's that piece, here's this piece. I can already see the burn lines as I walk up that will show this is plasma, solar plasma entering the ground, coming up through the roots, burning it from the inside out. There'll be weeds all around here. Let me show you this spot that I saw first, right here. See that? See how it's completely burnt here? Ooh, ooh, ah. Completely burnt here, unburnt there. And where it goes right here, there is like a curve right there, and then it comes back up, and a curve right here. So overall it kind of curves, but even right there, it's actually a 100% straight line. 100% burn here, 0 here. So even though it may go back and forth a little bit, it's taken the bark down about a 1/4 inch. This is a 1/4 inch lower than this. So when you see that straight up burn, it burned the tree on this side, not that side. Fire doesn't do that. I guarantee these holes underneath, I'll find more evidence. It was very clear last year, right when it was fresh, but I'll find you the rest. But that right there goes the rest of the way up. See how it's burned on this side, not on that side. And it makes pretty much a straight line. Right there. Here. Hold that thought. Oh, that's the other thing. This probably used to be a branch that stuck all the way out and it burned from the inside out. You see this marbled looking pattern? Come on. There we go. That marbled looking pattern, that's from the way that it burned. You'll see this kind of stuff in the wood pieces I lacquer that I'm calling plasma fired pieces from the Promethean Forest. If I could stop shaking, it might help too. There we go. And the reason that swirling looks the way it does, once it's lacquered up, this piece will be awesome. The turkey agrees. So what you do is you take it down, you peel that bark off, you wash it just with a dish sponge, a green scrubby on the back and a water sponge on the front. You peel the bark off, and it peels right off since it's all been electrified. It really does, it falls right off. You can see the bark falling off all these trees. That's one of the effects of the EMF frequencies that flex the phototropism, the ability of the plant to move from one side to the other as it's, to follow the sun from the morning throughout the day till the evening, the plant leans one direction, and then by the end of the day, it's leaning the other. That's its ability to inflate and deflate its cells with water. Electromagnetics stress that ability of the plant to the point where the bark is going to fall off, all of them. It happens every time you put a cell tower next to a tree, the bark falls off. That's why. Because the plant is flexing its cells full of water and emptying them to a point where it flexes the bark right off the tree. Hold it. That straight line burn is the signature that you'll see in Robert O'Tay's videos, even though he drives down the road swinging the camera around wildly so you can't actually see that. And says, I'm sick of hearing people saying this things are vaporized. Even though he says, look at that RV, it's vaporized. And what else was vaporized? He says a couple things were vaporized, and then he says he's sick of hearing people saying it and everyone needs to shut up. What happened, Robert? I'll do a future episode on him, but right now, this is what I mean. It's burnt from the inside. Here's the burn signatures that I'm talking about. That right there is gonna wash up and lacquer sweet. These burn lines don't come from fire. That's electricity from within. And everyone knows from burning a regular campfire, the knot on a wood is the hardest part to burn because it's the hardest wood there is. It's harder. It's harder to saw through, and it's harder to light on fire. But it's exactly the opposite with these EMF fires. That's where the most of the electricity is drawn to. Watch how easy this bark's gonna fall off. Wash it up, lacquer it down. This piece, I don't want to mess it up too bad. But yeah, look, wow. Wow. This is the same condition of all the wood in the Paradise, California fires. And on the pieces I'll show you at home, I call it flames. Usually this part where it's unburned, is often in the shape of a flame, of a fire. But the point is, fire doesn't burn inconsistently like that and leave some spots completely unburned and other parts burnt to a crisp. We're talking this was a really dense log, okay? Really dense. Right here, I'll show you the same effect at home. Anywhere there was a branch gonna come out, that's what a knot is. It's where a branch was gonna come out. You'll see, particularly right up here, little black dots with unburnt around them. Because each of those little black dots is where the electricity was coming up and out the branch, and there was probably a branch growing out of there, and it sizzled. Come on, focus. There we go. It sizzled from the end inward. You see that unburnt pattern in there? I'll show you a lot of these at my house, of pieces that I've lacquered and cleaned when the fires had just barely hit, but clearly there's still gonna be plenty of product. I'll show you where it looks like lightning bolts have struck, particularly these two, if it would focus, and look like lightning bolts bouncing back and forth hitting the wood. You'll see the edge of the burn goes from 100% to 0. There is no phase transition where it gradually gets less burned and less burned. It goes from 100% to 0. That is the burn signature of the EMF fires. The other signature is that all the burn follows the grain of the wood. This one was clearly burnt from the inside out. Let me find you some more good shots. I'll just finish looking at this one log alone, okay? Because there's enough burn signatures here where it demonstrates the unnatural burn pattern that any fire expert can tell you that's not fire. So I'm going to just cover this one log a little closer and back up a little bit. See right here, where it went from completely crisp to nothing? Right there. Those kind of lines are all over this, and it goes with the grain. Anywhere the burn line goes with the grain, it's 100% here, or 100% burned here, and 0 here. That's when a burn line goes with the grain. When it goes against the grain is when you can see this phase transition and the grain within the wood really shows up sweet. And you can see from this, it kind of burns from the top. Even though it burns it from the inside out, once it begins to sizzle, you can see, look at this piece, how it's the top 3/4 of it is burnt, and then the bottom few layers are unburnt. So it burns from the inside out, but it also kind of burns from the outside in, sizzling without flame. That's why I guarantee there's plenty of fresh leaves around here that didn't get burned. These are one of those great big logs that burns to a crisp. And the leaves are still sitting all around it unburned. If this were a fire, in order to produce this kind of heat that it took to burn the burned part, like this, that's dense wood from the knot of a huge tree. So the intense heat that it took to burn the knot to a crisp where it started crackling up and breaking up like that was huge. And for it to leave an unburned spot like that, the heat came from the inside, not the outside. Otherwise, there wouldn't be all these twigs and unburnt leaves laying around. Otherwise, there wouldn't be all these leaves all in the trees. You see? All the unburnt leaves everywhere. Or I could pull a Robert O'Tay and go, I'm sick of people saying this is nothing but forest fire, and just keep the camera moving so you can't see anything. What happened to you, Robert? So what I'm gonna come do is peel off a lot of this bark, and you'll be able to see, I'm gonna find some spots where you can see the ooh-ah. More than ladybugs, there's lots of ladybugs in there. We should probably give them their privacy. Sorry ladies, sorry ladies. Where is it? Anyway, yeah, hold that thought. Just to get you the backup view of what it is we're looking at here, I guarantee I'm gonna find some really odd burn signatures. I can see this bush down here's got it all over it. You'll probably find some burnt branches way up in the middle of the tree with unburnt leaves all around them, but in the middle is a branch burnt to a crisp. How does that work? When the heat comes from within. Solar plasma penetrates the ground and comes up through the root systems. I will show this abundantly clear over and over and over and over again. Up there, I'm gonna go see what that is, but that's gonna be one of the odd burn signatures I speak of. There's the highly burnt tree, the unburnt leaves here, and the crisp black wood there. See how it stops right there, about 20 feet up? And again, that one was the dead giveaway. As soon as I saw that, I knew what I was looking at. So I know that all the other signatures that I recorded from Spanish Fork are also here in Provo Canyon. 50 miles away, 30 miles away, however far it is. You see this little spot right here? One little tiny spot, unburned all around it, one little tiny spot. There's even a couple dots right there. Like little tiny lightning strikes, but that's where the sizzle comes out from within. And that's why I say these were flameless forest fires. It's almost hard to say. I keep saying smokeless because you've heard that. Smokeless Duraflame log, smokeless this, smokeless that. You've never heard flameless associated with fire. So it's almost even hard to say, even to every time I try to say it, I get tongue-tied. Because there's no such thing as a flameless fire. Oh yeah, there is. Or that wouldn't be there. Okay, so what happens here is it comes up there, out the ends of these branches, and where they broke off, you'll see the center. Let me find you a better shot. Okay, this scene alone could be a study for a science class in the inner workings of electricity and plasma. Because you'll see how it's burnt some places and unburnt others, and because it comes right out of the ground, it's going to be easy to point out. Again, the burned and unburned right next to each other. That's the outer bark of this piece here. And it looks like there's a rock stuck right to it. So maybe the dirt has fallen away since this fire happened. And that's why these are all exposed. That would make sense. Why would this be growing naturally? Oh, and look at that great big rock there. And those there. Wow, this is crazy. But look at the end of these branches. These are exactly what I'm talking about. If it'll focus, you'll see that the end of this one is burnt inside. Okay, I'm gonna let it do whatever it's gonna do and just tell you. That's burnt on the inside, unburnt on the outside, like the rest of these. And what I'm trying, there you go. This dot here, it started to come out here, but primarily, again, I'll show you a bunch of these I've picked up and lacquered up, and because the lighting and everything right now, it's just not focusing. There's another one of these burn lines. Burnt on the right, unburnt on the left, all the way up. And I guarantee the tip of that branch right here, where is it? Give me, right here, is burnt on the inside, unburnt on the outside, but apparently it's burnt halfway. It's burnt on this side, not that side. Now what you'll also see is a lot of these branches will be sitting right next to each other. 5, 6, 8 of them. I've got some at home as examples where it burns up one side and not the other. So there'll be another branch here, here, and here, and all of them are burned on the same side, only on one side, and it's always the same side. Like the plasma hit from this side. These little burn signatures where it's speckled everywhere. Again, hate to be repetitive. And all the unburnt leaves up here in the tree. The amount of heat that it took to turn this into what it is, and the fact that there's nothing below it for 2 feet, means it wasn't flame. And the way the dirt has receded since the fire is pretty amazing. So hold on, let me get you another shot. Truth is, you shouldn't need another shot. When you see this, how it's burnt on the right and unburnt on the left, and even though the line may weave back and forth a little bit, and even though the power of the Prince of the Air got into my camera and won't let me focus, you can still see the straight burn line, and that doesn't happen in a fire. These are the burn signatures of EMF fires that are caused when they break the electromagnetic field and allow solar plasma to enter into our atmosphere and then direct it. But when it first starts up, it's kind of like a hose, a great big high-powered hose. Until you got it right on your target, the first 5 seconds when that hose turns on is kind of wild, and it kind of goes whichever direction it wants. That's why leading into Paradise, there's a few mountains that took a zap going in. Like, were they test firing it on the way in? No, it's probably just a little hard to control when you fire it up and open it up until you got the stream on your target. It kind of goes wild. It kind of goes wherever it wants. You see all those unburnt leaves? see this branch? We're taking this one as a memento. You can only keep it out of focus for so long. The point is, it's exactly as I've said it would be. Once the lighting and the focus and the whatever else hits whatever it needs to, pretty amazing how consistently it insists on refusing here. But eventually I'll get in there and it'll focus and it'll show you what I'm trying to show you. Or not. Or not! Yeah, we'll get to that guy. Don't worry. Okay, I'm gonna just trust that this is being redundant and I'm being ridiculous and stop with what I'm doing. Because you can see, I hope, that's my point here, is that it's burned on the inside, not on the outside. In other words, I know what I'm talking about. I told you what we would find before we even saw it. These burn signatures are repetitive. These aren't anomalies. This is what happens all throughout the entire place. There isn't a single real fire burn signature on the property. But people associate what they see with what they know. And when they see something they don't recognize, they associate it with the closest thing that they do. And that's why when the European colonizers showed up on the shores, the tribal elders and the tribesmen did not see the ships. And the guy had to come in and talk with the tribal elders and say, no, we're on these great big ships out there. He got on a little canoe. They saw the canoe coming in because they recognized that. But with those great big ships on the horizon, they didn't even see them. The guy had to go point it out to him and say, look, you see this? You see that? Huh? And he's squinting his eyes. Hold that thought. So, good news and bad news. My battery ran dead, that's why I had to run back to the car here. And the good news is the sun came out for a second and then it went back behind the clouds. My point is, I already know what I'm looking at. The only reason I'm trying to emphatically try to prove it to the viewer is because for some reason, we don't see it if it doesn't fit into our paradigm. And that's why the tribal natives couldn't see the giant ships of the European colonizers and they had to be shown. And once the chief saw it for himself, he went over to the other tribesmen because they believed him. They didn't believe this yahoo that showed up. But when the chief said, no, I see it, look over here, they finally saw it as well. And possibly we don't recognize the ships of the colonizers that have arrived, whether they're the triangles and circles in the sky, the directed energy weapons, the chemtrails in the sky. Those are the smokestacks of the death camps that I refer to when I say observe and report. You see, after the Nazis were all taken down, the people that were in the death camps, when they were in therapy drawing pictures and stuff, they wouldn't draw the smokestacks. For some reason, they didn't remember those. Even though they were the most prominent thing on the horizon, no one saw them. They were absent-minded of the smokestacks. It's called intentional ignorance or whatever, but we block it out for a coping mechanism. Pretend like we don't see it. All the locals said, we didn't know. We thought that was a dog food making facility. We didn't notice all the trains of people going in full of people and coming out empty. No, we believed that smell coming from that place was the dog food making facility. Yeah, we believed it. And half of them really did. The other half just pretended they did. Regardless of where you stand, doesn't matter. We have a natural avoidance mechanism. It's called normalcy bias, cognitive dissonance, and a couple other names for it, but it's basically the same operation. So this one piece that I grabbed to bring back while we're charging shows the signatures, the burn signatures I'm talking about. Fire doesn't leave this burn unburned here and turn a piece that dense completely to charred disintegration where it starts crackling and breaking up. But you see that part right there is unburned again. But another thing is, it's only surface deep. The end of these branches, as I'll show you, where the end is burnt, you scratch the end off that surface, and it doesn't burn going all the way through the middle, because just like when someone gets struck by electricity, by lightning, it only burns at the entry and the exit point. So when it comes in the branch, up through the roots of the tree, it comes up through the roots of the tree and it's coming out the end of the branch, it comes out the end right here and it'll be burnt on the end, but not all the way through the middle. You scratch the end off, it's unburnt. Just like lightning only burns on the entry and the exit points, same it is with these trees. And there is so many burn signatures here. I don't know if that was scratched off or if that's just one of the places where you can see it burns unevenly, because the electricity doesn't flow evenly through the wood. It flows in bolts like lightning. And that's what you'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna just walk back over here and check this out and then run you up in here, because there's definitely a lot of all the same signs. Let me show you this real quick before we run out of space on this video. See the unburned leaves here? And the unburned spot here, and where the line goes from burn to unburn right here, there is no graduation of phase transition between super duper hot and not hot at all. It also pops through just in a little spot right there, because it's electricity coming from within, inside. And again, I haven't moved anything. This is exactly the way it was when I found it. There's a bunch more little unburnt leaves here and there. They're flopping around in the wind. There's probably more I can find for you. But yeah, I didn't set this up. That was sitting that way. And as I've said, these knots, this is a knot within a tree. And in these fires, it attracts the most heat. Look at this little spot on the outside that's unburned. I have a giant, this little spot right here. You can even see, if it'll focus for me, kind of a groove, almost. Like that's the last remaining piece of bark, and there's a little groove on the top side. I don't want to stick my finger in there, so it adjusts the focus. See that little groove on the top side? Where it goes from burnt to unburnt is actually, there's about a 1/4 inch depth difference right there, and it goes all the way around. And I have a piece off of a tree that fell off of a tree just like this. They erased it with my last episodes, where I showed the tree that I found, and a piece just like this, unburnt on one side, totally burnt on the other side, except for one little spot. And that one little spot is the final remaining spot on the back side where it was still attached. I'll show you that piece